So how does one go into lack consciousness, lack mindset? Meaning, I don't have enough right now. I don't like this. I prefer that. Meaning, I don't like this, so I'm not happy in that sense. Or that I'm missing out. Or I have been missing out. I just found out. Or that our culture is so much better than your culture. And I'm going to show you that. I'm going to prove you that. Or that, how come the food from this country is so much better than the food or the music or the culture from this another country? It's all on social media nowadays. It's what a lot of the influencers are doing. That's the current culture, and that's their main job. And a lot of high brands, big brands, corporations are supporting them, are sending sponsorships, sending products for them to review, meaning compare, evaluate, etc., etc. And they create a hype around. Why? Because it's creating a lot of phonetics. And that's what the personal development teachings were, especially in the 80s, 90s, 2000s. When you read all these books, especially one of the major main guys in US, I read a lot of his books too. I studied all these people. And what I came across back then was you need to create a fan base. You need to create not just followers, but fanatics, fans. Why? That's how you build your reputation, your position, power in business community, in whatever community, and that's how you can make money. And now the energy needs to shift because we are moving into the sovereign era. We are no longer following nobody. You can interact, support them, but it's not going to be following them like a fanatics. You know what I mean? There's a difference. You're choosing to support them because you resonate, you are inspired, etc., etc. So that's been their strategy, teaching people, thousands of people, and that was the consciousness back then. So they served a lot of people in different ways because they teach a lot of different understandings about how minds work and stuff like that. But at the same time, when it came to the realm of the idea of success, that's what they were teaching. And now it is still going on. These food influencers go around the country, and I believe they have their own soul contracts and they have their own soul unique blueprints. So they're meant to do what they're meant to do. So I'm not focusing on the person, but just the phenomena itself. What the phenomena is creating people to do. They're being manipulated, you see? So they go around and start evaluating, comparing foods. Oh, I went to Korea and I tried this. I went to Japan and tried this. I went to China and tried this. And they start to compare between the foods in Japan, foods in Korea, foods in China, for example. And then it extends to Korea is better than Japan, or Japan is better than Korea. Or they're trying to be nice. So for certain things, I prefer this, but prefer that. They start to use verbiage in a way to be seen very diplomatic because they don't want to be seen as bad in duality consciousness sense. And they talk about, I'm grateful that blah, blah, blah. Or they talk about, how come in US we don't have this? We better have this. So what is this creating is we're not appreciating what we have in our unique land of Gaia. The chocolate will taste different in every continent. The coffee tastes different in every continent. From my personal experience, when I was in Peru, when I was in Brazil, the coffee and the food tasted different, or the fruits. Why? Because the energy of Gaia is different in different regions for a divine purpose. And without understanding this, they're just focusing on what I prefer, meaning the I or the ego. I don't like this, I don't like that. And when that person has a lot of sort of authority, meaning popularity, meaning a lot of numbers and followers, that's what they represent nowadays, right? Then they have a better say now, and people just follow. Ooh, I want to try that. Ooh, I want to. So where's the consciousness in one's mind? Where is the intuition? So it's constantly creating people in this pyramid structure. And one of the food influencer that was interesting was saying she was just evaluating all these foods, and she went to different bakeries, and then she kept constantly saying that how come in Asia all the salt bread is sweet? I want something salty. You see, in that moment, what is she doing? The I, the ego. And she repeats this in several of her videos, and at the end she says, why don't Asia, why don't you make the salt bread more salty? And she ends the video with feeling grateful for having this opportunity to travel the world, to taste different foods, different cultures. You see what's being played here? So I'm not talking about the person or analyzing or trying to judge the person, but look at the phenomena that what's going on that's conditioning people's minds without them realizing. And the more she does it, the more she's going to be in that egoic state through repetition. And all the people who's watching it, listening to it over and over and over and over, it's also programming their minds as well. So that's how the content is being served. And they're being sponsored with corporate products, sponsorships, collaborations from the centralized powers to review more, to compare more. That's subconsciously provoking people to compete with each other. My culture is better. I'm going to show you. I'm going to prove it to you. My food is better. I'm going to show you. I'm going to prove it to you. And they're now talking about ethnic research or ethnic group, blah, blah, blah. They have an institution showing research papers on which countries or ethnic cultures' food is superior. And they're talking about our country or the Korean food is blah, 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 blah. It has nothing to do with learning the uniqueness of one's culture or finding wisdom in these cultures, but rather they're focusing on what is superior, what is inferior, you see? And they dedicate all their life to prove this to other other countries. And who's the judge? Who's evaluating this? Another centralized organization that has more authorship. And now they said, blah, blah, blah country has blah, blah, blah superiority on blah, blah, blah stuff. You see what I mean? That's creating constant separation, hierarchical ideas, and also having people in duality consciousness in separating themselves. What is fragmentation? Fragmentation is I say one thing and I do another. So that's what they're constantly doing without realizing, fragmenting themselves. I don't like this, I prefer this, but I'm grateful that blah, blah, blah. You see what I mean? Constant contradicting oneself, constant fragmenting oneself, constant dividing, separating oneself, constant talking about it in reviews. It's pretty entertaining to watch them, but we got to be aware what they're doing to our subconscious mind, something that we need to be aware of.